Good morning. I wanted to get on here and do a couple card alternatives for the Batter Up Paper Pumpkin. So I took one of the card bases here. I try to experiment a little bit ahead of time, you know, and I get some ideas from people elsewhere as well. So what I did is I actually, you know, this is a basic card front. This is your basic, you know, 8.5 width card front. Okay. And, I decided to take the, not card front, card base. And I decided to do a little, Z card. And what's going to happen is it's going to close up like that. So what I did is I scored it through the center of the sun, or almost the center of the sun, at 2 and, what is it? Yeah, 2 3/4. So 2 3/4, it's scored right here. This is the center fold for the card already. Then I scored it again over here on the edge at 7 1/4. Or if you don't want to, you know, open your scoring, it's, let's see, 1 1/4 from the side. I did that some shorter on purpose, and you'll see why in a second. So it's 1 1/4 in from the edge. Or if you just want to do it on your scoring board, it's going to be, you're going to score it 2 3/4. You're going to score it 4 1/4, which is the standard card base, you know, card base line, and then 7 1/4. Okay. And so you're going to have this extra 1 1/4 inch on the edge here. And what's going to happen is it's going to make a Z fold. So it's not a true Z fold. It's actually a Z and a tab, almost like an S actually, when you think about it. So you see it's going to have that funny little shape on the top. So, so what you're going to do is you're going to score that out. Then you're going to cut out a piece of 1 1/2 inch real red. Okay, I used 1 1/2 inch of real red. I tried using the cherry cobbler. It's not an exact match to this red, but as you can see, here's the Poppy Parade. Here's the real red, and I have a piece of cherry cobbler here. Oh, cherry cobbler might actually work. No, cherry cobbler is not really going to be that much better, you know, than the real red. I just wanted that bright red, and so I stuck with the real red because cherry cobbler is pretty, it's pretty dark next to it. I don't know, I kind of like it better. Actually, I think I might switch to the cherry cobbler if I have another piece here, which I don't. So we're going to stick with the real red. For a second, it seemed like it was too dark, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, it's not too dark, but that's too short of a piece. It needs to be longer. So we're just going to go with the real red. Cherry cobbler might have actually worked. Anyway, back to my card. So this is 1 1/2 inches wide by 5 1/2 inches long. Okay. And all we're going to do is we're going to add this to the tab here. We're going to add this to that tab on the outside. And so it's so we can close it up. This is just a simple card, nothing too fancy. It looks really fancy, but it's not that fancy. So let me get my white glue out. I've gotten used to using the white glue, and like the Tear and Tape, it's more affordable actually than some of the tape runners. I do love a tape runner, don't get me wrong, but this is a little bit more affordable than the tape runners. You just get a lot more for your money. Oops, except you know what I just realized is I put too much, I put it too far on the edge. Whoops, it's gonna make a, well, you know what? Then I can show you that other tool. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down here, but you'll see, look, now I have all this glue on the outside edge here. Now I can put another piece of red here to cover up this extra line, which I might actually do. Because I kind of like the idea that it's not two-toned. So I think I might take another piece of red and cover up on the outside there. Let me grab my cutter, trimmer. All right, so this is 1 1/2. What I could do is I could take, there's something called a glue eraser that you can buy, an adhesive eraser. And I'll grab it to show you so you can see what I'm talking about. So whenever I put too much glue on something, or it seeps out, or, you know, I make a mistake with the glue, I can take this glue eraser and it will pick it up. You see, it's picking up that line of glue. it still leaves a little bit of color. You see there's still a little discoloration from where the glue was, but it's called an adhesive eraser. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these, but I don't think we sell them anymore, but I know we used to. Let me check the catalog actually while we're talking. Remember, if you want to get anything, if you want to sign up for Paper Pumpkin, go to FabulousStamper.com. Let me see in the tools real quick. I'm pretty sure we don't have it anymore. We did for a long time, but let's see. There we go, paper accessories. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't have it anymore. Yeah. We used to carry, you can buy them also at, the Dollar Tree, someone told me. Stampin' Up! Carried these really nice ones. And so there's a little better quality to this Stampin' Up! One. I've had this one for 15 years. It's pretty dirty because it just rolled around in the bottom of my kit. But you can also pick one up at Michael's or the Dollar Tree. I mean, if it's $1, I'd rather get it from the Dollar Tree. And if it does the same trick, there's something about the whatever's on the edge of it. This rubber just picks up that adhesive. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add one more piece here. And just to make it where it's not two-toned. I just kind of like the concept of it not being two-toned. I got a little too much glue on there, but it'll be fine. Because I can use my eraser again. Right, and so we'll go ahead and we'll put it, I think I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I kind of like it having that, I didn't like it looking unfinished, you know? Sometimes it's better to just finish it up and make it totally finished. And the good thing is there's a little, when you use the wet glue, the other good thing is when you use the wet glue, you have a little more leeway on putting it down. And so like I got a little glue down here. Let me pick it up. And so just don't want it to get on my card. Picked it up with some tissue, but just want to make sure I don't get any more in my card. So yeah, you see it gives more of a finished look. And let me make sure I press it nice and tight here so that it is fully sealed. And so what I need is my bone folder to make sure I can score that down well. I do not seem to be able to find it right now. So just, you know, I'll use the edge of my ruler, see if that'll help. Yeah, there we go. Get it to go down. And you see it'll make a nice little, you know, it's not a gatefold. A gatefold is when you fold it in half towards each other. So this is actually a Z fold, but it adds this extra gatefold. So it's kind of funny. And all we're gonna do is we're just gonna take some of our cool die cuts that came in the Paper Pumpkin kit, and we're just gonna add a couple of these to some things. Let's see, I think I want a bat. And yeah, I think that's good. So if I add this little baseball here, it's such a sweet little thing to add. So I need to stamp out my sentiment. I want to put All Star on my, I think I'm going to put All Star on my baseball. I'll put it in Night of Navy, make it patriotic. And I think I'm gonna do a little, cut out a little hat. Okay, so let me get my ink open. And I might need a little tag. I think I wanna put, let me see if I've got, yeah, there we go. We had these tiny tags that came with the kit, which were fun. I think I'll take one of those and put something else on. And I'll take my stickers here. All right, and I have a scrap piece of white that I had from over here. So I'll use this scrap piece of white. I'll stamp my hat on here and then cut it out. Oh, I need a, where is it? It's always good to have a catalog or something underneath an image that's very solid and flat like this, because it just gives a good, it just makes it's smoother when you're, oops, I don't want to stamp it on the baseball. I want to stamp it on here. And then I'm going to cut this out. All right. And then you see it gives a nice even finish with the base, with the phrase. And let's see, will this all-star fit here? No, I got to turn it. I'm going to need to turn it pretty center. All right. And remember, you can always try things out ahead of time. On a blank piece of paper if you're not sure. See, this one came out a little faded. I probably needed to ink it a little bit more. And then I think I'm gonna make a, where'd they go? I think I'm gonna add a little, I think I'll use friend. They have, you know, uncle, grandpa, friend, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. You can use anything. I mean, I'm just trying to think of who I would give this to, so I think I'll make this one a friend. I'm kind of bummed that it doesn't have any female pronouns on there or female nouns on there, other than mom. So that's kind of a bummer, but I think it still can be cute. There we go. Let me close up my ink. Oh, actually, I'm gonna need that ink in just a minute. So go ahead and set this aside. Grab my scissors. And for the hat, I've told this in other videos, remember you always move the paper, not the scissors. The scissors don't really move. The paper moves more than the scissors. There we go. And you'll just get a smoother cut when you move the paper more than you move the scissors. All right, there we go. And so I'm gonna put the baseball here, and I think I wanna put the bat and the ball over here to the side, but I think I'm gonna put the hat up on dimensionals and the bat I'll put down straight. And this All-Star, I think I'm gonna put tear and tape on the back of this, but I don't know, I can probably use some white glue. Let me see. I definitely wanna put the baseball bat over here, so let me do him first. Okay, be a little, oops, there's a little. Take my dimensionals. I love the dimensionals from Stampin' Up. They're so much better than dimensionals from other companies. They're so narrow. I like that they're very narrow. They pop it up just enough to give that hint, but don't make it too crazy. And I'll put just some white glue on this side here, but see, it makes this fun little gate. And then I think I'm gonna add the friend right here. Actually, I don't know if I'll add the friend. I think I like the baseball as is. I don't think I want to cover up the stitching. I think I'll change my mind on that. So I'm going to put just a little on the side here. I don't want to put it too far to the middle because I don't want it to come over the edge of the card. So I'm just putting it on the edge there. It should be strong enough to hold it down. If it's not, I'll go back and put some tear and tape. And I'm just gonna hold that down and let it dry. I just like that fun look that this gives when you fold it this way. And then I'm gonna add some stickers. I think I'll add some yellow stickers One here. I like that, you know, someone is just an all-star. It doesn't necessarily have to be dad or friend or whatever too. Yeah, fun. Put some of these, I love these little dot stickers. I got a couple packages, a couple Piper pumpkins. That's why I have 2 sheets. And then I lost this sheet last night, so I had to open the other one, but because I do these alternatives. Oh, and you can see some of that glue came off on the bottom of this, bat here. So I just take my eraser and I just run it over and it'll pick up any of that stickiness, and it also gives it a nice clean finish. And so, yeah, there we go. Pick it right up. Gives a nice clean finish. Just holding that down, I want it to stay just a little longer. So it does pop open, but you know, you're gonna put it in an envelope, but it pops open a little bit. I think if I had my bone folder, I could get it to stay down a little bit better. Wayward stuff here. So, but I think that's a fun card. And I could even put a belly band if I wanted. You could even put a magnet over here if you wanted to get it to stay down. But I think I'm gonna leave it just as is because I like it like this. I just like this design. Another thing that would have been fun, but I don't think this is long enough, is like from the envelope. I could have put another piece right here, but I think I like the red, you know, because I could have put that piece of the envelope right here, which would have been kind of fun to add, but nah, I'm good. I think it's good as is. Yeah, it's cute. All right, set that one aside. And then we're gonna do this last one, which is why I had that little blue piece, is we're going to be doing a little seascape, which I thought was super fun. So we're gonna be putting down this blue, and then we're gonna be putting this little piece of the sun down. And then I have actually I already stamped a sailboat. And then of course now I've lost it, so I might need to stamp another one. Let's see, there it is. I was gonna say I had one in this stamp set. So what I did is just to change it up and add a little something extra, I thought it would be fun to add this sailboat, which comes from this stamp set, from the Sailing Home stamp set, which is available in the catalog. I love this stamp set. And I think I might do like a congrats, or no, let's see, set sail in the direction of your dreams. I think I'll do that as the sentiment. I think I might put that, let's see, maybe I'll put that up on the top here or something, or I'll punch it. Ooh, might punch with the oval or postage stamp or something. But I just thought this was a fun take on this card to change it up. You know, you can take the ones from the Paper Pumpkin and do what you want with them. It's not a rule that you have to stick to exactly the way that they have it. You know, you can always do whatever you want. So I'm gonna take this up. I gotta be careful with the sun because it's the hardest part to place. So I think I'll put down my blue and then I'm gonna glue them both. But I have to make sure I get that sun just right. Okay, so let me see. Let me put down the blue and then let me see if I can slide that yellow sun behind it. Gotta be quick on this, because I want to just, earlier I cut the sun so it would work, but actually I think sliding it behind is better. Yeah, there we go. But it was good to work quickly because I wanted to make sure it was centered around the rays, and I also wanted to make sure that there was enough room for the sailboat and everything, so you just have to work quickly. So I did the blue first and then I slid the sun behind it, but I just worked quickly on that. It wouldn't have really mattered. I just didn't want it to be too high. And then I'm gonna pop this sailboat on dimensionals. Again, that came from the Sailing Home stamp set, which is one of my favorite stamp sets, I've come to realize. I didn't realize how much I would love that stamp set. My dad was in the Navy and so was my grandfather. So obviously I have like an affinity for the Navy more than anything. But it's just this fun thing. And you know, they have dies for this particular set. And I don't have the die. I didn't use the dies on this. I actually cut this by hand. I stamped it and I cut it by hand. That was it. And so then we'll take our other sentiment I think Set Sail, and I probably will punch it out of something else. Let me see. Where'd that scrap piece that I cut the baseball hat out of go? I just hate to waste paper. And it always happens when I'm on camera. In 10 seconds, I'll find exactly the piece that we're talking about. But of course not right now. Okay, so let me go ahead and stamp this in blue. I think I'll use, I might need to use, no, I think the navy's good. Okay, and I think I'm gonna use my favorite punch. If you guys hadn't realized, my favorite punch is this postage stamp punch. It is my absolute favorite punch. I cannot get enough of it. It's a little bit crooked. I might need to trim it down. So, as you can see, look, it's a little bit too high up on the page. I wanted to have this edge be straight. And it's a little too big, like the punch is a little bit large for such a small sentiment. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it down near the bottom and then I'm gonna trim off that little top on the part on top. Let's see, and then I'm gonna punch this out. I need to re-ink that navy. It's a little dry. And I don't have to put the sentiment on the front. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off this crooked edge of the Set Sail. It's just a little bit crooked the way I had done it. So I'm going to trim that off. And I'll go ahead and use my trimmer. I could probably get away with using my scissors, but I want it to be perfectly straight on the edge. And so there you go. And I'm going to pop that on dimensionals too. And I think I'll add a couple dots on it, maybe a red dot or something. All right. But I like that, you know, things can coordinate even when you are not sure. And someone else told me that this was a very Japanese looking sun, which it could have been a Japanese flag actually. If, you know, we had any Japanese style stamp sets in the catalog. We have one from a few years ago and I actually have it. And maybe I'll do an alternative for that and put that on YouTube too. There we go. How cute is that? Just came out to a nice, sweet finish. Nothing too complicated, nothing too crazy. And this is just using the envelope. This is using the envelope insert. Oh, that's what I meant to tell you. This actually came from, I trimmed it out to save time. This came from the envelope insert. You see, so I cut this off and I trimmed it down. Now there's still a little bit of glue on the top edge here, but that I'm not worried about that, you know, because it's not like I'm gonna throw this in the swimming pool and it gets sticky. And I didn't really mind that little bit of shine on it. I just kept it. And I just thought that was a fun way to use this insert. So, and I think what I'll do is I probably stamp a little, I always like to stamp the envelopes with something. Let me grab oh, I think I'll stamp it with an anchor or a compass. I think a compass this time. I always wanna add something to my envelope. I just love the way envelopes look when they're stamped. So I think I'll use and a trick. I put this sticker on incorrectly, but I figured out that north was here on my stamp. So I actually marked it with a marker. And so that's just something to know. No one would probably even know that the compass was incorrect, but I did. I figured it out. And so that's my north. So I'll make it straight up and down. Okay, there we go. And so that's 2 cards, 2 alternative cards, you know, using just minimal extra supplies. This circle is from the Bumblebee. It's a 2-inch circle punched out of the Bumblebee color cardstock. And I didn't describe all that I was doing at the same time. I'm so sorry about that, you guys. So these are the basic card bases. I folded this one. Remember, I gave you the measurements earlier on that. And this is two 1.5 inch pieces of red. And I stamped those. And I might even stamp something else on here to add texture. But and this is the postage stamp punch. This is the Sailing Home stamp set. And the Bumblebee paper was punched with this 2-inch circle punch. It can be any size circle. This was just the circle I had handy, so I punched it out of that. And it was actually the perfect circle to have this large circle. It worked just right. And so what a fun set. So what a fun little set of cards, you know, to have. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe, and thanks for tuning in.